Blog Talk Radio.
This is the Girl George and the Dragons Radio Show coming to you from sunny Berkeley, California. Today we have my favorite all-time bartender from Al's Bar back in the heyday. Everyone that ever came into Al's Bar would know this girl. This is Stacey. Hi, Stacey. What you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Girl George?
When did you start working at Al's Bar?
Near the tail end of 1990. No, actually 91.
91. How long did you work there? When did you start?
I was there till the very last night. So we're talking about 12 years.
So what was the very last night? I had left by 1995.
Oh, gosh. Geez, you'd think I'd know off the top of my head, but, early, was it 2002? No, 2003. You think, I'm sure I have it written down somewhere, but it was early 2000, I think 2002. I'm sure somebody out there could correct me, but.
So what were your most memorable bands there?
Oh, most memorable. That's hard, but because I had a lot of favorites. And if you think about it, 12 years of seeing like anywhere from 3 to 5 bands a night, it was insane. But, of course I'm going to, spurt out Pop Defect. It's one of my very big faves. Texas Terry and the Stiff Ones, Waco, Bottom 12, Third Grade Teacher, 400 Blows, Crack, Backbiter, Clawhammer, Gasoline, Possum Dixon, Blues Experiment, Jazz from Hell, Olean, Ludafisk, Extra Fancy, Waldo the Dog-Faced Boy, Jack Brewer Band, Red Poppies. There's all kinds. I mean, I could go on and on and on. And then we had our house bands like Jake LaBotts and Sublime was our house band, unbeknownst to me, they'd become big. But I could just go on. Double Knot Spy
What about
Car.
No Talent Night? What was
No Talent Night was
all about?
The best when I first started working there because that was your show and you owned it. And it was just, I looked forward to if I was able to work that night because it was a heck of a lot of fun. And it just kind of basically went downhill once you left. So, but I mean, seriously, I think they tried a variety of different things, but it just didn't work. You know, it wasn't. You know, was it excuse me, Girl George night anymore? You know.
It wasn't like I wanted to leave. It was right after we did that play. I was in that play of Showdown in Sonora Town with
Charlie
Mark.
Poppy.
And for some reason, Mark got all pissy because he thought I was laughing at him. But that was the script. The script was me and Charlie were these drunk musicians wandering through towns just laughing at everybody. That was our gig. That's what we were supposed to be. But
right.
He took offense to it, and he wouldn't let me play at No Talent Night. I mean, you've
that's
got to
ridiculous.
practice. I don't have to practice. I know my fucking parts, you know. And then
that's
he
so
went.
sad. I didn't know that was the case.
No Talent Night was on Thursday night, and he changed it and put that Tyrannus Rex or Tyrannus Monster in there on Thursday night instead of No Talent Night, which No Talent Night had always been Thursday night.
Yeah.
And he went and put No Talent Night to Sunday and put Monster Asshole in there on Thursday. I said, fuck you. I said, I'm not going to come in here on Thursday. I'm on Sunday. Because I had brought it up 4, 5, 6 different times. He kept getting busted on the weekend for having too many people in there or having a minor or something in there. And then they would cut us down. We could only have 30 people in there, and I'd have to build it up again. So I'd build it up again, and it'd be going like crazy, and then we'd get busted again, or he'd get in a fight with the poets. It started out, it was poets, S.A. Griffin.
S.A. Griffin,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, and Bob Stardo is the ones that started it. And he got in a fight with them, and so all the poets left. Originally, it was poets throwing stuff at each other, you know, and they were just these really crazy poets. And then Mark got in a fight with them, and they left, and he took it over. And so then everybody was gone again, you know. So then I had to build it back up, and then it was all punk bands coming in there. And Mark was up on the microphone cussing everybody out, calling them names, and we promise no talent and we deliver, and people would throw cups at the acts they didn't like, and up on the billboard, up on the chalkboard it said occasional artist sacrifice, which is true. Somebody got it every Thursday, except for me. Motherfuckers throw something at me, I go kick their ass.
That's right. I forgot when I first started working there, they had the whole lineup for the week on a chalkboard, but eventually they started printing out calendars. That's right. That's wild. Yes, many a great memory.
Yeah, I started there in about 80 some odd. Yeah, but probably about 85, because I got to L.A. in about 83. So probably 84, because Carlos Guitarless was my guitar player up in San Francisco years ago, and I ran into him, and he said, I want to take you to this place, and he took me to Al's Bar. And I walked in the place, and they started clapping, because I had the sword on, the velvet, and the cape, the whole bit. I walked in the place, and they got it. You know, everyone started clapping when I walked in the door. So I thought, this is the place for me, and that's when the poets were there, you know, S.A. and Bobo and them.
Right,
and then I went on stage and did Johnny's Got Herpes, and he went, yeah!
I remember Johnny's Got Herpes.
So I wrote my songs about them and for them.
That's funny. Yep. Yeah, I took those days for granted. You know, we had no clue what was going on. It was just an everyday kind of deal, you know, but many a great and horrible experience there.
Oh, I never took it for granted. I loved every minute of it.
Oh, I'm not saying I didn't love it.
But there's always somebody to fight with, you know.
Oh yeah, well, it's drama. There's always drama. I actually, like I said, I was just interviewed for that Tales of the Americans, so I basically went through trunks and trunks of just stuff I kept. I mean, I have so many frickin' photos and old calendars, and like I said, I ran across 2 of your songs that you wrote, one about me and one about Pop Defects. And I also ran across this one thing that Mark at one time was trying to make a movie, and he did somewhat of a movie, but he had asked me to write down some of my memories, and I found that, and it was pretty funny, coming from a 22-year-old's perspective or 23-year-old's perspective at that time, but it's pretty funny what I wrote about. But I could read you a page or two if you'd like. Okay,
Go for it.
Mind you, I'm like 23. Let's see, and I'm writing this for Mark. When asked how I feel about how people see Al's Bar, I have to say that it is the only cut and dry, hard to find bar in town where ambiance is reality and far from pretentious. And you'll never know what or who you'll bump into. A place where people go for new cutting-edge, underground music with no limits. A place deep in the depths of downtown where only the bold and hip dare to go. Basically, Al's Bar is an expression outlet for the LA music and art scene. I personally see Al's Bar as a place that hosts a variety of people, all shapes, sizes, races, and occupations. A place where these people can converge and share their ideals and talents. A place where no holds barred. A place where you can let do and do all the things you're not allowed. To express without judgment. And for me, it's inspirational to be surrounded by people working for or living their dreams. I also have a lot of cool coworkers, and Al's carries a lot of what I call drama, and I seem to just love drama, so it's cool to get paid and experience a new episode of drama per shift. Oh gosh, and it goes on.
Keep going. There must be more.
Yeah, it's just funny to find this and read over it, but I guess he had asked me.
Is that it, or is there more? Is there more?
Oh yeah, there's more. He'd asked me to write episodes, so let's see. Here's an episode. There are times when customers have had too many drinks and you have to cut them off. Almost every time I'm entertained by excuses, and then they try to act as sober as possible, only looking worse as if they're unable to prevent, as they are unable to prevent slurring. Eventually to walk off and forget they ever asked, scam on someone else's drink, or storm around pissed off at me for cutting them off. The best of the drunks I get to throw out. Drunks are so easy to push around and throw out. One guy I recall was at the bar with two friends. I refused to serve him, but his friends were cool. He had obviously had a few or was on something and a little bitter at my refusal to serve him. So then a few minutes later, a customer informed me that this man had his pants around his ankles, underwear and all. I, not being able to see from my perspective at the bar, walked around, grabbed him by the neck of his coat to coax him outside. Well, then he proceeded then to drop to the floor in an embryonic position, wailing, "No!" So I kind of had to kick and nudge him and verbalize what was to come if he didn't get the hell out of the bar. So it's amazing how people act when they are blasted. They can pass out standing up or have long, deep conversations with the walls or anybody who'll basically listen. And let's see. Oh, and then I go on to talk about Imperial Butt Wizards. Do you remember that band?
Yeah.
Some nights it's so packed at Al's that the walls and the floors get slippery wet from all the sweat and moisture in the air. And that applies to both summer and winter eves. The worst Al's ever gets is when the Imperial Butt Wizards play. They're one of the wildest bands in L.A., and Al's is the only bar in L.A. that allows them to play. They are like having a free acid trip minus the acid. They totally take over the bar, starting with the lead singer showing up 3 hours early with literally a carload of stuffed animals and bizarre trinkets ranging from food, x-rays, animal bones, fireworks of all kinds, and so on. They go on last because during their set, they proceed to blow up each and every stuffed animal amidst smoke bombs and flying food. No one comes out of their shows unscathed, and after working a couple of times when they played, I finally got hip and wore a gas mask. Basic pure mayhem, and I'm always full of sympathy for the person responsible to clean up the literal knee-deep, and I kid you not, literal knee-deep debris the next day.
No, I remember Dawn. Do you remember Dawn from upstairs?
Of course I remember Dawn. Dr. Jones. Actually, there's a piece here I had written. Oh, Don Jones and I were just tight. My yard
Let's hear
sale
about
happened
Don Jones.
Let's see. And I love all the people who come into the bar claiming that they know Al, whether it's for free admission or beer or just to brag about their group of buddies or how far them and Al go back. The best are the ones who go over the same story to Mark, who is Al. Another one of our locals, Don Jones, a.k.a. Dr. Jones, works the Al thing hardcore. I've seen him con a full bar full of people on many occasions that Al was buried beneath a certain spot next to the pool table, and when you tap on it, it was hollow and only in that spot, which is true. He would elaborate on the jeweled box that possessed the ashes and how he was buried there when he died, so his spirit would remain, and so on and so on.
Do you have anything about Bloom? Any stories about Bloom?
Get out of here. Was one of his favorite things to say. Oh, he was a sweetheart. I mean, but not to anybody who would look at him, who didn't know him. But he was a big part of, doing a lot around downtown. And then he opened Joel's General Store on the corner of Traction and Hewitt, where I had my store, to the curb. And where Alberto had coffee strippers, and where I think Mark had a place called Art de Casse or something.
And Bloom wrote those plays, too, and he produced those plays.
He produced and wrote the plays, and he did, remember that one he did where it was a drive-in play?
Yeah.
Where you drove into a parking lot, and it was like a drive-in theater, literally. That was pretty awesome. I actually just ran across an article on that in my digging through past histories.
Did you ever live in the American Hotel above?
No, I never did. I lived, my first loft was on Willow Street, and then I moved down on Santa Fe with Laura Howell from Too Much Girl. She's a great designer now. And then the earthquake happened, Northridge, and we were standing, I can remember escaping out of the loft and standing there, jeans inside out, going, holy shit. And the cops coming up to us.
Yeah, that was scary, that big earthquake.
Pardon me?
That was scary, that big earthquake.
It was, and actually, I was at Al's, we were celebrating Loretta Kraft, who actually used to manage the American Hotel. We were celebrating her birthday, and, everybody had gone home, drunkenly gone home, and I must have been, barely asleep when the earthquake hit. But instantly homeless because the building was condemned. And then I moved into the loft building, not all in order. I bounced around other places in between these lofts, but I also lived in the loft across the street from Al's Bar, literally, which was crazy because all the locals would, yell up to my window. They knew where, if I wasn't at work, they knew I was across the street, yada, yada. Drove the owners crazy.
You're an artist, too, aren't you? Because you made that beautiful birthday card for my 50th birthday. You drew that. That was really great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I like to dabble in, assemblage and collage work, but, 2 kids under the belt time is, of essence. Actually a dear friend of mine, Judith, just lit the candle under me and said, get down there and make some art, girl. So I'm trying to...
So do you have any stories about Cliff, the the doorman? I loved him.
My brother from another mother. Oh, I adore him. I actually haven't spoken with him in, a year, which is horrible because I talk to him at least once or twice a year. We've always kept contact. We worked together for 12 years. We've, seen a lot, and he's just such a sweetheart. He's such, people see this tall, towering African-American man and get intimidated, but any of us who know him, know what, a sweet, gullible sweetheart he was, But, he was the doorman. And actually, he's working at the Troubadour right now.
Was he 7 feet tall? He was really tall. And he was an actor, too.
Yes, and actually, not many people know this, but he used to be a globetrotter back in the 70s.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, totally. And
how tall was he?
Oh gosh, I had to have been 7-something. Huge.
Yeah, it must have been. He was
and
really
such a sweetheart.
I came about to his waist.
I had to kick him. It's funny. Sometimes I literally would have to be the person in charge of kicking people out because he's just standing there and I'd just, let's get this asshole out of here. He's a visual doorman.
Yeah. But he wasn't mean at all.
But yeah,
So do you have any stories about
I adored
Mark?
Cliff.
You got any stories about Mark, the owner, Mr.
Do I have
Al?
any stories about Mark? No. I mean, he was an integral part of my life then. He was, gave me a job for so many years. I've heard everybody's side of him, but he was like, kind of a father to me in some ways, as far as, always there if I needed somebody to talk to. Mark was Mark. Everybody has their little idiosyncrasies. Everybody has their moments. But he's a cool cat. I wish Al's hadn't ended the way it did. I think, it could have happened differently, and it had nothing to do with him. But he helped keep a roof over my head all those years. And
well, Al's Bar wouldn't have been Al's Bar without Mark. I mean,
of course not. He started it.
He was
with
Al's
a TV
Bar.
table. Yeah, he started it with a TV tray table and a cigar box, and I think $30 in it or something goes the story. And yeah, he was integral in bringing the. Okay. He was integral in bringing the arts, both artists and lesbians and musicians, and that's one thing I loved about Al's Bar is the fact that it wasn't just punk rock. I loved on the little ad you wrote. You're like, Stacey knows everything about punk rock. I don't know everything about punk rock. I just know about the bands that played there and such. Like, sorry, I'm getting interrupted. They had, we had a great, Hispanic bands, great hip-hop bands, great folk bands, punk bands, funk bands, You never knew it was going to be thrown at you. And there's so many, big people who came out of there, like Beck, Troy Cafe, his mom ran that down the street. And, he would play Al's all the time before he got big. And Sublime and Morphine, and geez, I could go on.
Nirvana even played there, right?
Yeah, Nirvana played before I worked there, just if it weren't for him, and he also had a lot of good people that helped keep it going too. Lizzie Ballo was.
Who were the other bartenders?
Oh gosh, well, rest in peace, beautiful, beautiful Mary Edith Speed. She was one of the first bartenders I worked with, and then there was Melissa, then Lizzie, and then Sally Howard Toast, who books there, also bartended there at times. Petita Alcala bartended there. There's so many bartenders that went through the joint. But I was trying to think of the bookers. Johnny Vargas was one of the. Lizzie and Johnny Vargas were the bookers when I first started working there. I'm sure you remember them. And then Toast came in and brought, a lot of bigger acts into the scene. And also she did like great movie nights and such. And actually her and Mark were the first to do live webcasts on of the shows. Like one of the first bars to do that. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. I think that was after I left. I left in 95. So that was
so
probably
you left
after I left, because computers were probably after I left.
Right. True. Gosh, scary. I know. It's like
I came back to
before
San Francisco in 1995.
Before eBay. Before
YouTube and Facebook and MySpace.
Yeah, Google.
And you had to know fucking numbers, zeros and ones, whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, you had to pull out the good old encyclopedia. Let me get my cane.
My first websites my daughter had to make for me, because she went to college, so she knew how to do that, but I didn't know how to do that. I couldn't do it until your space came along, or MySpace came along.
MySpace, that's right. Forgot about that.
And so that way you just typed whatever you want in there. And then Facebook came along, so that was perfect for me. And then YouTube, I've got a place to put all those videos that I've saved all those years. I've got
Right.
tons of boxes of videos because
Well,
I had a TV show
Facebook
for
was
5 years too.
Right. Facebook was a saving grace for me because I had moved, far away to start a family, and I'd talk to friends every now and then. But when Facebook came along, it was like, it was like a connection back to my LA past, and it was bittersweet because I could reconnect with friends and such, but I could also visualize all the art openings and shows they were seeing, because I'm kind of in a small town now, so Facebook is a good little link to my past, so to say. And
yeah, I know. I'm hooked to all the people I've known over the years. Some in San Francisco back in the '60s, and some in Nashville in the '70s, and LA in the '80s and '90s.
Yeah,
and so then I started doing the show,
too.
and I can bring them on to here and talk to them and see what they're doing now. So
right.
Doing the show. Mostly I just talk to my old friends.
Well, yeah, it was cool days, man. I'm glad I lived them. Cool days.
Yeah.
Good times.
So where are you living now?
I'm living in Vermont, my husband's hometown. So it's really a good place to raise children. I've got an 11-year-old and then an 11-year-old daughter named Stella, and then a little girl named Harlow who will be 8 next month. And this is a good life for me. We want to move back. Pardon me?
You live clear across the country, huh?
I do. What the hell? The hell did I do?
Where are you from originally?
I was raised in Memphis, Tennessee, and then grew up in L.A., so I like to say that, I was taught morals and then came to L.A. and got corrupted, but had enough morals instilled in me to not, get in too much trouble.
Is your mama a musician?
My mom's not a musician, but she was a radio DJ growing up, a disc jockey growing up, which was pretty awesome. She did a few radio stations, so I got to go to work with her. She was a single mom. She raised me all by her lonesome. So, but she always, I was surrounded me with music. She took me to concerts when I was growing up, because she was a DJ. So I saw Meatloaf and Jackson Browne in their heyday. And what's a great story, actually, is the Police. I saw on their first tour when they were, traveling in a van, in their whole, orange jumpsuits with their Converse, and saw them in Memphis, front row center. And then when I was pregnant with Harlow, the Police did their reunion gig, and I went to Montreal and saw their reunion gig. So it was kind of cool to see them at the very beginning of their career and then the reunion of their career. But my mom exposed me to so many genres of music, which I'm very thankful for. She, everything. I mean, growing up in Memphis, I had bluegrass. I had, Elvis Presley. I had the good country, Johnny Cash, and.
Cool. Well, thank you for being on the show our time.
Well, thank you.
It was great talking to you. I'll have to get you on a show again. Maybe we can get all of Pop Defect on a show together with you. How about that?
Oh, that'd be insanity.
That would be cool, right? Huh? So I'm going to try to arrange that. So this was Stacey Little. How do you say your last name?
Cannizzaro. That's my married name.
Okay, we can find her on Facebook. This is the girl George and the Dragons Radio Show saying see you later, alligator.